Hello. You are listening to Korpse Talk with me, the artist, famous photographer Kean Bolger, and we are here with
Silent G.
How are you?
I'm good,
Yeah.
bro. I'm good.
let's hear
We're
a bit
pretending
about
like we
yourself.
haven't been out for the last hour.
It's always like that whenever it's like an interview or a podcast. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
how are you?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, tell us a bit. Explain what you do, who you are.
I'm G. I do a bit of everything, honestly. I stopped taking pictures. I don't do photography as much anymore. But I mainly do graphics. I DJ. I edit videos. I do a lot of shit. I mean, like it's all over the place. Yeah, I do a lot of things. Founder 999. Secure Studios. Nothing to Prove. Yeah, I do a bunch of things.
Nice.
Which would you say is your main, what is the main thing that you chase? Like, if you were to succeed in one thing the most, what would it be?
Everything is equal, to be honest. I'm more so focused on money more than anything because starting out on all this shit, I just literally wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
And then now it's come to the point where I'm like, oh, well, I guess I can make a living from it. So now it's about chasing the bag. But yeah, everything is equal. But I wouldn't see myself doing one thing, ending up doing one thing or being more happy with the success of one thing. It's all equal.
Yeah. Do you think that going down a fashion lane, in terms of the things that you mainly work in is fashion, do you think that that's helped more than it's kind of do you think you gravitate towards fashion more so now because of that?
Yeah. I kind of got into all this because of fashion. I started off my parents were really into their style, so I already kind of had that. I was already kind of taught how to, I guess, dress or conduct yourself in certain manners. And then I worked for a magazine, Heisenbody. I worked for them for a bit when I was in uni. And then kind of after that, networking and going to these fashion parties and meeting people, having some really weird nights. I kind of gravitated more and more towards fashion, and then that kind of led to that's very true actually, because the way a 999 came about was because I'd go to these fashion parties and I noticed that everyone's I love the way if you go to a Paris Fashion Week, everyone from all different subcultures come together for one thing. It's the love of fashion. And then when it comes to the actual nightclubs and the parties, there's no form of judgment. So all the techno heads, all the hip hop heads, R&B, whatever you want to name it, anything, everyone gets in the club and everyone moshes, everyone has a great time, everyone dances. So that was how a 999 came about, because seeing that over there and being oh shit, we don't have that here.
Yeah.
And that sense of community as well. Everyone in 999 is essentially kind of from different subgroups and whatnot. So yeah, it stemmed kind of from fashion. But yeah, even graphic wise, it was just because I was just I just didn't want to pay anyone to do my graphics.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned this. So I've been doing graphics for maybe 5 years now. Because I didn't want to pay anyone, so I kind of got good at it, and that's it. Yeah.
Do you feel like Ireland still lacks that though, in the sense of a full community in terms of even music, art, fashion? Do you feel say for example somebody who's a techno head, do you think that they still couldn't really get on with, or there's a
sort of divide between certain groups of
See,
people?
this is the thing. The funny thing about it is that there is and there isn't. I don't know what it is that's I always have this conversation with the boys, and I don't know what it is about Ireland, like, because when you do, like, when different subcultures come together, they're always like, oh shit, why have we never met?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. So I don't know what it is, and like, that's why I feel like we could be that glue to kind of bring it together, because there is a divide, but not really.
Yeah.
I feel like part of the reason is kind of like, since there's no full sort of commercial thing yet, like say the way there is in London, like you know who's at like the, not the very top, kind of sounds a bit weird, but like there's certain people are like higher up in a way, like say like someone like Skepta, who was also involved in fashion, like, but there's no one really like that in Ireland yet. So it's kind of like, since everyone is kind of the same level, there's like a lot of ego maybe.
Yeah.
And that's,
you think so?
I think like not as much anymore, but definitely like a year and a half ago, I feel like there definitely was. That also may have been because I was also in a different position, like looking at it from a different angle. But like everyone I've met is cool, but like I feel like the reason that, like, just from talking to different people, like the reason that some people like don't get on, but like they'll not get on or not like someone for like the stupidest reason.
Oh
you know
man,
what
trust
I mean?
me, I got that. Like when I first came back to Dublin from London, like I met a bunch of people, and like one of the boys that I'm not gonna mention names, one of the boys told me, he was like, yo,
Start
like,
calling people out.
I would, but like, yo, sunny.
No hook.
But one of the boys told me, he was like, yo, like, when I came across your page, blah blah blah, he asked his friend who this was, and his friend was like, don't pay that guy no mind, whatever. And it was like, it was in a negative way.
Yeah.
And then now we're all mates, and it's like, why would you say that in the first place? So that always happens. I mean, I kind of look like a dick anyway. It's like I'm wearing Mickey Mouse hat right now. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like again, it's Ireland. It's still kind of very judgmental.
Yeah, but it's also weird because at the same time, like, you say that, but then you see how much like fans get behind like Irish teams. Like the one thing like people that come over to Ireland from different countries and stuff always come back with is like that everyone's so nice, and there's like always such a sense of like even if say you're in like a pub or something like that, like you go up and talk to everyone, but then when it comes to something like fashion or music or something like that, then that's when the egos get involved. It's a weird one because like Irish people are like renowned for kind of like having like a sort of sense of community and stuff like that.
It's like they're kind of, I feel like the main thing is that they're so like defensive of their own identity that when it comes to fashion and stuff, and the goal is to like be different or be yourself more, that they're afraid that this will actually fuck up what they've been fighting for.
I don't know. I see it to a degree, but I don't know. I don't know if it's an ego thing necessarily. Because again, like I'll come across a lot of these people. Maybe it's me coming, like, I'm not in any position, but maybe it's me being, I guess, me to a certain degree. But whenever I come across these people that I've been told, oh no, don't, like, they're a bit weird or they have an ego and blah blah blah. Whenever I come across these people, it's blessed.
Yeah, they're always not. No,
it's
that's
fine.
That's the thing. Like,
so it's people again. Like these people in the creative. I hate all these words. The creative scene tend to judge before actually meeting. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like an ego thing. I don't know. I haven't really came across a lot of people like with egos, and then if there are people that have egos, it's because they're capping a lot. You know, and there are a few cappers. And
that is the thing. Like everyone I have met that I've been told anything about, like I always get on with. Like from my experience, like I've always gotten on with pretty much everyone. Obviously, like there's certain people like you like more, like that's just natural. All the rest, but like I don't know, like I can never tell if that's just me, like you know, if that's just me being able to get on with people, or if it's like this person who said this person about that, like it's, I don't know what it is. So I don't, like I agree, I don't know if it's necessarily an ego thing, but I don't really know where it comes from, like where it stems from.
Yeah, I don't know where it stems from.
I feel like those boasters mainly are the people who are doing it more so for the, like,
the status of
yeah,
like making
the status of
something.
being
Yeah,
an
yeah.
artist,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
so
yeah,
than
100%.
pushing themselves out to the world. You know?
100%, 100%.
Do you think that that's changed in the time that you've been around?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, I came back here 2 years ago, and in the space of 2 years, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
like,
I started 2 years ago.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you get me?
Yeah.
Like, in the space, like, like, when I came, I don't know, it was weird. Like, obviously, people kind of, like, my friends and everything now, we all followed each other on Instagram, but, like, we never spoke. So, when I came to Dublin, everyone was like, wait, you're from Dublin? I was like, yeah.
How long were you in London for?
I was in London for, my dad works in London.
Okay.
Well, he's dead now,
Yeah.
R.I.P. But he was working in London, so I was always back and forth. And I kind of grew up in London. And then after uni, I went to London for like maybe a few months.
Oh, okay.
And then I realized that shit's already happening there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's people that have egos.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to a club and then your boy's getting pissed off saying, do they not know who I am?
Oh, okay, I get you.
And you're like, wait,
yeah.
man, like,
Yeah,
we're
it's an
all,
ego in that
yeah,
sense.
we're all
Yeah.
waiting to get into a club, like, yeah. So, yeah, when I think ego, I think like that,
Okay.
you know, whereas, like, going back to what we're talking about, like, here, it's just, like, people just literally just, it's being comfortable.
Yeah.
People just literally just being comfortable in their groups, in their surroundings and whatnot, and not really want, like, because they're so comfortable, they don't have the urge to want to talk to someone, so they already make that judgment.
And I suppose it depends on what field you're in as well. Like, for someone like me, like, I have to, like, it's my job essentially to, like, meet new people and talk to new people and make new connections. But if you're someone who's like, I don't know, because it helps with pretty much everything, but, like, say if you're making music, you don't necessarily need to talk to, like, everyone. Like, there's certain people you'd pick out to make a song with it, to, like, produce a track for you. But for me, like, I could, like, do a photo shoot with, like, a model or a singer or, like, a producer or whatever, and that, like, that's always going to pay off for me. So I suppose it's different in that sense as well.
Even with fashion, like, that's why I didn't talk to anyone when I first started my brand. Because I
You're
didn't
just secure.
I didn't need anyone, like, and the photographers that I used, like, the only photographer that was up and coming at the time that I used was On Faye.
Okay.
And, like, I didn't need to hit him up to do a shoot, you know, but I just fucked with his work online, and before that I got some, I can't even remember what his name is, but some mad photographer. He's like extremely too expensive for my budget at the moment at that time. And I was, because I didn't know anyone, and I didn't really want to get to know anyone. To be honest,
is he Irish?
Irish, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fucking expensive, and I used him for the shoot. So yeah, in my field, I wouldn't need to talk to anyone, but I like socializing. I like getting to know people.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it does always help at the end of the day. Like, there's no harm in doing it at all. But I feel like that might be, like, part of it. People are just like you're saying, too comfortable. Yeah, not even too comfortable, just comfortable. Like,
just comfortable.
They don't feel like they need to. But I think it comes across weird to, like, say me when I was starting, right? Like, now I'd have no problem with it, but me when I was starting, I'd text or I'd follow someone, because like the first person I ever shot with was him. Like, that wasn't my friend. Like, I did 2 shoots with, like, my friends, and, like, 2 weeks after I started photography, we did a shoot, and then but, like, say I'd follow someone off my page, like, well, all these really, like, just terrible photos on my page, like, I'd follow someone or, like, text someone for a shoot, and they wouldn't reply, I wouldn't follow me back, and I was like, why don't they? I feel like I'm just trying to do something that could help me out. But, like, obviously, you're like, you're not thinking what they're thinking about that whole situation.
Yeah, like. It's crazy, and it's so nice to hear that from people, like, you know, that honesty within ourselves, to be able to be like, yo, like, looking back at it, like, what the fuck were we doing? I remember when I was growing up and I was like getting into graphic design, and like I was just sending out like my portfolio to different people and whatnot, and then I look back at it and I'm like, no wonder I didn't get a response back. Like, this shit is fucking, it's garbage, you know what I mean? But at that time, you're like, oh, I'm putting in the work.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
No,
so,
but then those same people, like, today, like, you'd have no problem at all, like, like linking or whatever
crazy.
with them. So it's really
so
weird.
it's
No,
weird.
It's funny looking back. Like, that's me saying that, like, I'm 50.
Yeah, that's,
looking
back at the Irish
looking back at my old days, like, I've been doing, like,
we're
2
talking
years,
like
but-
we're OGs and this shit.
No, but it's even worse for me. Like, at least you've been doing it for like longer than me, like longer than us two. But like for me, I'm like I am looking back a year and a half.
I don't know. I still feel like, see, when I came back here, my Instagram got deleted. So and then I didn't go back to London, and I didn't talk to any of my friends over in London, and the course I did in uni, I scrapped that. So when I came back to Dublin, I literally started my life from scratch.
Yeah. So what were you doing before you went to London, and then before you came back to Dublin? Like, what were you doing?
Before I went to London, I was in Galway studying civil engineering. It was the worst time of my life. So I wanted to do architecture. It's a long story. I didn't submit a portfolio. Yeah, it's a long story. And then I thought, buildings, architecture, civil engineering, I'll do that. And then I got in, and then I was mad depressed, and it was a long story. That's what I was doing, literally. And then I was doing graphics for myself, like working on my new brand and whatnot. And then, then I went to London, came back, and that was just, so I literally like started from scratch. So, like the same time that you started, I probably started,
kind of restarted.
Yeah, okay, restarted. Yeah. Like I was fresh. Like I literally came back to Dublin, new account.
Yeah.
In that moment where you were just like, I'm gonna try it again. Like I'm just gonna go full fledged.
Yeah.
What was your like mindset at that time? Even for like people that are just starting, like how did you tell yourself, this is what I want to do?
Probably like. Coming from like a Nigerian household, man, like it's just me being me. I only ever get discouraged when I have negative energy around me.
Yeah.
So like I don't know why, but I've always been like confident in what I want to do. So I've never like, the only times I'd question anything that I'm doing is literally if I'm with people that are like, oh, so uni, how's that going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, oh, so like, are you gonna do a master's? And it's like, no. Are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So those are the only times that I'm discouraged. But like, when I literally just went like head first for it. I'd never think, because at the end of the day,
I think that the confidence kind of, because I listened to the podcast you did with is it Olive?
Ollie, yeah.
I listened to the podcast, and like you were talking about football and stuff like that. I honestly, because I have the same background, like football and I think the confidence in yourself comes from sport.
Okay,
especially if you're like for me anyway, like I was always like confident in my ability, and you like with something like sport, like you can prove to yourself. Like if you think you're gonna have a bad, if you think you're playing well and then you go and score 3 goals in a match, you know you're playing well, and same with a race. So I think like understanding, like saying, being like, oh, I'm fit at the moment, like I'm in good form, and then going out and proving that to yourself gives you that confidence. Whereas someone, I can't speak from experience, but somebody who doesn't have that sports experience, like if you're like, oh, my music's really good at the moment, like I'm really banging this out, there's no actual way to measure that. Do you know what I mean? I think the confidence in yourself does actually come from something like that.
Literally, because you don't have someone, when you're doing this shit, you don't have someone that's like, oh, well done. It's literally just like, oh, you put it out there and you just hope for the best.
Like,
but
you have your Instagram comments and stuff.
Yeah, you're happy with your work at the end of the day. But yeah, football, that was probably where, you're probably right, that was probably where I gained like the confidence to do a lot of shit. Plus like just throw myself out there. Like I'd randomly, like, if I was in a club, I'd just randomly go to a group of people and just start having conversations with them. And you know what I mean? Like my next move now.
No, you're good.
My next move now is to have a drink by myself at a pub. and then start my night from there.
Oh, okay.
Like that's the next like goal that I have, to be like more like sociable and like confident. Like I was watching something where like this guy travels to, like, he just picks a random place. And
is it the bald guy?
Oh, black dude.
No, never mind.
Well, there's this guy. There's a white guy that kind of does this too, but he's more so like scamming. So he'll like go into like. So he like, I don't know how he does it, but so he'd just go to this white guy would just go to random countries and like essentially scam them by like telling fibs. You know what I mean? So he'd like go into a McDonald's and then get the food, and then he'd go back to his hotel, come back with just with not even the receipt, but he'd be like, "Oh, I'm just staying at the hotel. You guys gave me blah blah blah, but I ordered da 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 da." And they're like,
what?
then for some reason they're like, "Oh shit, so sorry, sir."
Yeah.
There you go. So little things like that. Literally.
That's a new
So
little
things like that. Little things like that. So, but there's a black guy that literally like he traveled to Turkey with like £10. He's from London. £10, and he always, because he's so likable and so sociable, he always seems to find a way to have a place to stay, food to eat, and like ways to travel around.
Yeah.
So to be able to get to that state of, I guess, being social, I'd love to be at that stage. Not that I want to do that,
so
but
good,
like, I'd love to be at that
No,
stage.
if you're able to do that, like,
that'd
so
be
good.
Yeah.
I feel like being Nigerian does help that quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's such like a like Nigerians are like the New Yorkers of Africa. Like you're fully for yourself, so you have to like maximize everything that you're doing.
Literally, it's actually gas you mentioned that, because like me being half Nigerian Nigerian has always been kind of weird to a degree when I'm like trying to. It's only like maybe the past 2 years since I came back to Dublin that I've been more so around people that are very Nigerian, if I can put it that way, because I grew up around people from all different type of races, so it was I always felt like I never understood their like bants or anything, and I always felt like mad like uncomfortable being around them, and like the past 2 years has been cool because I got to meet people that were very Nigerian, but we had that common interest in the arts in general. Yeah. So that kind of eased me into that. So being Nigerian does kind of help. Yeah, it's cool.
Do you feel like even in like in being raised in a half Nigerian household versus like actually hanging around fully Nigerian people, I feel like maybe it was my dad that was slightly different, but like there's more of like everybody's kind of at age first, if you get me. Do you feel kind of the same way? Like, do you feel that being half Surinamese? Yeah. Do you feel like being half Surinamese that you like that other culture gave you both like a diversity, but also you're missing some from either?
Not really, cause but that was just literally solely to my parents, because my parents were like, okay, we're gonna bring you here. We're gonna bring you here. You're gonna try both of them. You're gonna come. My mom's like, you're gonna come to church. You should have seen me playing football. Like I was okay. I was okay at football.
I heard you were good.
I was okay. Like type shit where like I'd go to church right for 10:00, and then the manager would be there to pick me up at like 11:30 type shit. But yeah, like getting that experience, it was literally down to my parents, because like when I was in primary and secondary school, only secondary school I started hanging around with a lot of black people in general, and that's where I kind of like got a step in. But primary school I was the only black kid, so again like, and then when I go home, my parents like their friends were Asian, you know, like different cultures, different ethnicities. So it wasn't really like, it wasn't because of me, it was literally because of my parents. So yeah,
I wonder if that kind of like that drives a lot of people, because like of course a lot of places, like you went to a school in Balbriggan, so like there was a lot of different races, but like where I was the only black kid, I'm mixed.
And I was saying this on one of the other ones, like maybe in like me going from the school in Balbriggan to the one in Whitehall was so like there was like it was like at least half like just loads of different like ethnicities, everything, cultures. And then I went to the school, my last secondary school, like the one I went from fourth year, and there was one mixed guy in my year, and that was it.
wow.
It was so weird, like
Damn.
for me, and it was all boys as well, so it was even
Oh,
less. It
shit.
was even less mixed.
Yeah.
Whereas I was in a mixed school before, and then it was like loads of cultures, and then I went to like
Yeah,
that.
damn,
It's
that's
so
wild.
weird.
I wonder if that gives you like a love of like standing out, kind of like less so for attention, but like you really learn who you are when it's you against everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like primary school wise, I can't even really. I remember being different. You know what I mean? I remember like I guess like even like the little things like a church, for example. Like my mates in primary school being like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the park on Sunday," and I'm like, "It's not happening."
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you something for free. That's not happening. Like, so yeah, I knew I was different. And like secondary school was where I kind of like was like, oh shit, yeah, okay, well, like obviously you know you're black, but your culture is different. You know, like the way you go about things is different. Like it's crazy. Like I remember listening to Charlemagne the God. Any of you guys?
Yeah.
And like he's like the funniest guy ever. But like I remember listening to that and like just like it's such a weird like concept to me that people, I guess, of other races don't have to think like this, but like the moment I leave my house and whatever I do, in the back of my head I know subconsciously that I'm a black man. And I can't like do this because I don't want to be looked at a certain way. So like, but it's so fucked that you have to think like that, you know what I mean? Like you get into a lift with a lady or a man of a different ethnicity and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like, you know, act a certain way because I don't want to scare them. You know what I mean? It's fucking weird, but yeah. No, I get it, but hey, we are here.
Like,
yeah, even going up to the, like when we're on the way here to Garda checkpoint, like I was like, oh shit, but I can't even imagine what that would be like from like a different perspective. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like in there, like in that situation, I was like, yeah, shit, we got a white niggas. But like I found that funny you said that. I found that interesting. Like I'm gonna spin it on you this time, even though it's for me. But I found that interesting that you took out your grill.
Yeah.
How come?
Well, it's kind of weird because I feel weird saying this. Like I feel like I'm not in a position that I should be able to say this. But like, basically, pretty much every interaction I've had with the guard has gone a bad way.
Okay.
And I'm like blue eyes, blonde hair.
Okay.
Like small, skinny, white guy. Like not driving fast, like anything like that. License is perfect. Got my license when I was 17. All of this, like, didn't even drink up until a year ago. All of this, and then I was driving my friends home from a night out, like wasn't drinking obviously, like this like a year and a half ago. Driving through Clontarf as well. So we're like two white guys in the back. A white guy in the front of me and a white guy and his girlfriend,
in the back.
white girlfriend as well in the back. Guy pulled us over and then was like, oh, what's the story, blah blah. I was like, he was real casual, so I was like, oh, what's up? And he's like, why are you talking like that? And I was like, oh, sorry. So I had it like all like long story, but had that and then just a couple of interactions like that, and then me and him had a really really bad interaction. It wasn't even on me; it was on him. But like just seeing how it played out, like it was just like because I like they went away whatever afterwards. Like completely like the situation we were in, like I completely understand why they would come in the first place, but what they did in the situation was it was just ridiculous. Like and seeing that done to like my best friend, like it's like what am I supposed to do with that? So for me, it's just in my head now, and then the media as well, seeing all of that. It's like obviously like. I've had grand, like there's been checkpoints where I've gone through and just like taken out my license, like, oh no, you're fine, whatever. There's just been too many where it's it's bad. So it's weird for me. I feel weird saying that.
Okay, fair. But see, this is the thing about like this year that I've kind of like I've really loved, and it's the openness, like conversation, and like there's no other way for everyone to like kind of be more comfortable about talking about all these issues if we don't speak about them.
Exactly.
So like this year was like that was such a plus that I really enjoyed this year. Anyways, that was just a side note.
I really enjoyed how people weren't putting up for performatism either. Especially with this one. People were like, you're either at the protests or you're either doing something for it or you're not. Like sharing it on the internet and trying to say I'm a good person, I believe this isn't
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
not. That's
You have
not.
to like it was
Yeah.
really like you have to practice what you preach.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, my friends, I remember being in the group chat and some of my mates were like, "Oh, they just posted the black screen, that was it." And I was like, "Oh shit." But yeah, man, I don't know. It was like, it was a great year for awareness and like all that type of stuff. Have we moved forward? I'd like to think so, to a degree. I feel like more people are more aware again.
I think people are very
yeah,
aware now. Like even there was something the other day that started getting shared around again.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but just like no matter what happens, like people really aren't standing for it. It seems like.
Yeah, that the what was it again? The Black Lives Matter thing. That was fuck. I actually didn't expect that many people to go.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did not expect that many people.
Especially
to
during the pandemic.
During the literally,
yo, we were standing up. You know, everyone was speaking.
Yeah.
Like we were standing there watching everyone speak.
Like I remember going down and I was like, I knew there was like it's obviously gonna be like 100, like over 100 people, 200 people. Oh, fuck. Yo, and like the funny thing was like there was more that like black people were like in that protest. We were the minority.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was
still
that was the beautiful thing about it, you know? So yeah, fucking big ups to everyone that came out. Shit, yeah. Honorable shout out.
Actually, do you think that in fact, because I was listening to a Kanye interview and he was like one of his good friend Virgil Abloh was like the first black CEO and working in fashion.
Yeah.
Do you think that like when you look up at like the executive branch of fashion, do you see many like yourself? Like, is there still like a heavy? Because of course in like music, there's a lot of
yeah, of
like
course.
we're kind of starting our own, and Tyler Perry started his own movie studio when everybody was complaining about the Oscars. Do you think that in fashion, it's translated as much as it has everywhere else?
See, with fashion, it's like art in general. It's like it's kind of like music, but with music, it's more so these new subgenres. But in general, we are like, and I really stress this, and I hope that people like realize that we are actually going through a renaissance. Like we really are. Like so with fashion, like we're in such a beautiful time because like we have people like Virgil Abloh who a lot of people don't like, and a lot of people think is corny or whatnot. But we have people like him, Wells of Bonner, like a lot of Martine Rose, a lot of black fashion designers that are like paving the way. Even my boy Spencer Badu from Canada, a lot of black fashion designers that are paving the way, that like 5 years ago didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was literally 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So I'm only saying it now. We're not fully there, but that's literally because we're at the start of the Renaissance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's even like Ireland and Dublin. Like, people don't really see it. Music-wise, I think people see it.
Yeah.
But with other shit in general, people don't really see it. But we are going through some sort or some form of Renaissance. It's really weird.
Yeah, I'd say part of the reason people don't realise it as well is because, like, the only really well-known person that you mentioned there is like from like an out, like if you're not really into fashion like that, is Virgil Abloh, because like Off-White, you got all like the nightclubs, everything, but like at least with music you see who's behind everything, but you don't necessarily see the designer of a brand unless you're really into it or you look into it. So it could be to do with that. But do you also think that the sort of massive crossover between fashion and music now helps that an awful lot and kind of helps bring that forward?
That's a good question. Yeah, to a degree. Like, because you have fashion purists that are like that don't give a fuck about the music side. You know, but yes, for people like your Matthew Williams of Aleeks, and like most, but it's always been happening from for time. You know what I mean?
I feel like now, especially like you've kind of got like even.
But we're living in see, the thing about it's what would you say now? It's exploded even more now. Yeah. Because like we're living in an influencer time. I'm not calling these artists like influencers, but like we're living in an influencer time where like you fuck with Playboy Cardi's aesthetic,
you
so
see,
I'm gonna
but even,
flush
like,
him in my
Being
closet,
black
yeah.
is now cool.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Like,
even like the whole thing, like it's just to, like to focus on like the fashion part of it, like when Astro World came out, there was like part of the album sales was clothes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
it's going to be that for a whole lot of Red with the stuff we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But like he's after releasing like essentially a collection alongside a whole lot
He's
of
got
Red.
child support now.
Like he's got like there's vests, hoodies, shorts, necklaces. There's a rug. Like there's everything. Do you know what I mean?
But see, for someone like Playboy Cardi and a Travis Scott, I feel like that would have happened regardless.
Yeah, it fits their their like thing
It is
perfectly.
their
But
thing,
like
but I don't really think that a lot of people are doing that.
yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily
Fair
say
enough,
but yeah, Playboy Cardi and a Travis Scott, that is their kind of thing.
Yeah.
They already kind of have that like influence in fashion anyway.
True.
So yeah.
I think it's interesting. Like I like the fact that they're doing that, but I just thought I thought the fact that like all that was counting towards album sales and stuff was just mad. Like the crossover was like
It is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when Travis Scott dropped and Nicki Minaj was like,
yeah.
She was up on Ellen and everything.
That's really what got it going. I think. But that just helped them more than anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, again, we live in an influencer time. Get a good marketing team.
Exactly.
You know,
I say whenever Travis Scott comes up in conversation, that guy has the greatest team
Man,
ever.
the greatest team ever.
Greatest team.
Even
What
when
the
he's a
fuck?
feature in a music
like-
video, his part is
Like,
just
he should the hot music video.
Yeah.
But he
Jesus
should like.
Christ.
I feel like I love Travis Scott's music. Yeah, like I love it. Like Rodeo is one of my favorite albums, but he should not be that big. Like he should
You
not
really
be
think
this
so?
big.
See, this is the thing. A part of me is like, but it's that like, you know, that teenage, I wish my underground rapper didn't blow up.
Yeah.
A part of me is kind of like that, but then again, another part of me is like, it makes sense. Like, like I've never fucked with another artist from the beginning the way I fucked with Travis Scott.
True, yeah.
So to see that kind of progression is like, oh well, I mean, it makes sense.
No, it is. But I mean, just in terms of like music alone, I feel like if he didn't, so say if he never went into, and I mean, it's a very normal thing to do. Like the same way, like you were saying, like you never want to be known for one thing. On the same, like, and Sandy's the same as well. Like Sandy makes videos and does music and all that. I do my videos like photography. Like we have the brand and all this now. Like I want to make loads of stuff, so I feel like it is natural to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But just the team he has around, like the fact that he's on like a McDonald's ad and he's on like he has the Nike shoes, which is normal enough for a rapper these days anyway. But then he's got his clothes, like he's got all of that. Like it's just like without that team, I feel like he wouldn't be like a superstar, but he'd still be like very big.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like you think of songs like Sicko Mode. Like Sicko Mode is like half a dubstep song.
Literally.
But it's a great song.
Literally,
It's a great song.
I feel like, but that's the thing about a Travis Scott, like, and again, like a Virgil Abloh. I hate throwing all these big names, but they're literally like doing what the teenage them has always liked and always has done.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so easy for them. That's why it's so easy for their marketing team to like push that out.
Because it's organic.
Because it's organic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Travis Scott McDonald's meal is just the
It's just what he
McDonald's.
likes. Yeah,
it's literally
exactly,
just what he
yeah.
likes. You know what I mean?
I do think like, because a lot of the time when, like same thing you're saying, kind of like your teenage self, like, oh, I wish didn't love. Like a lot of the time when stuff like that happens, you're real like, oh, they're selling out, blah blah. But,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't. Like a lot of the time, like even he did that McDonald's thing. He's doing the PlayStation thing, and I don't feel like he's selling. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel like it's.
yeah.
I feel like it's very organic.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're, especially if you're an influencer type, that is the most like transparent thing. If you're not being organic or genuine, it comes across straight away. I feel like.
Yeah, 100%. That's why you have to stick with your guns. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like the thing we were talking about actually, with it's on a minuscule level, but with the whole influencer thing, and like the fit pictures and blah, like going out of your way to take a fit pic when like you started off by like just chilling with the homies, and then you're like, oh, let's just get a picture of me, and then it looks dope and people fuck with it, and now you feel pressure because people are like, it's just so long.
How do you feel about the difference in fame actually from like posting fit pictures and like people recognizing you for how you look versus now it's like what you make is how people see you? How do you feel like Do you feel like it's been for the better? Or?
I think see, I do a lot of stuff like now for the shit that I make.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was. I thought it was the camera. I had to check.
No, for the stuff that I make now, like I do a lot of shit now. Like for example, like most of the stuff that I actually do, like I do freelance graphic design, but like I don't have a website or anything, so I send off my graphics to like certain brands and certain people to like maybe we like to see if we can collaborate on something. So my graphic design work isn't out there, and then I have like Instagram pages where I've grown to like big numbers, and I use them as graphic design like pages as well to kind of showcase, like for example I have one, I don't say the names for them because one big thing with me is that I hate my friends that aren't into what I'm doing supporting it because it's me.
It's big,
because it's me. You know what I mean?
So
like for example, if I like start a YouTube channel, which I actually am, but if I start a YouTube channel and then I put it on my story, and then like I don't know, someone that I went to secondary school with, it's like, oh, I'll give him I'll subscribe to his channel
because I know
him, you know. So that's why I don't really like go into all my other shit, but like on that front, like all my shit that I do is very low key, but people don't really see that. People still kind of see me as that guy that like we know he's creative.
Yeah, like puts himself out there.
We know he's like part of 999. We know he has a brand, but he hasn't released in like 2-3 years. But that's because I'm busy and blah blah. So I'm still on that front of that guy that just dresses weird. You know what I mean? Like I'm still that guy that just dresses weird, but we know he's creative type of thing. But that's literally but that's how I want it to be. You know what I mean? Like
what you were saying about the like sort of like submitting your like graphic design portfolios and stuff like that. Like, what way do you go about that? Would you just send that out to like anyone, or would you like, are you like very like selective, like it's a certain person or a certain thing that you want to, or like how do you even go about like finding who you want to submit a portfolio to?
Now it's weird. Before, like there was a time like 3-4 years ago where I had to like go back to my messages and like, because I sent some
like unsend stuff.
There was like some soppy ass messages I'd sent to some of the biggest names in the world, like being like, yo, just give me this one chance. I swear to God. Just give me this one chance, I swear. Like, so I had to like unsend all that shit. But then like at that young age, I kind of grew by working with my friends and progressing from there. And then when I figured out that shit was going better, I was like, fuck it, I'll just send it to certain people. And then there was some people that were working for OG over in America that I knew in London, and then like sent it to them, they fucked with shit, and then that connection is there.
Okay.
And then from there, kind of growing to the point I'm at now, where like I don't have a specific person I'd send shit to.
Okay.
You know, like right now I've kind of stopped sending shit to because I've built relationships with people that would now, like, if they're looking for something, they'd now come to me.
Yeah, or they could recommend you to
exactly,
someone else kind of thing, yeah.
You know? So that's how it is now. Like, now I wouldn't really, unless, like, it's something new and I'm like, okay, I kind of see, like, I can do something here. Then I'd, like, send off my portfolio and, like, my past work and shit like that. So, yeah.
Nice. I had a question, but I can't remember. Fuck, I don't know. Wait, let me see, because we've got like a couple. I think that fella might be coming in after. That was just really weird that he walked in. What one here?
Oh no, we can just continue with that one. Like, I was.
Alright, yeah, cool, yeah. I had a question, I can't remember. I'm gonna try and remember it.
How did you, like, when you got the first successful one, what do you think you did, like, differently? Like, if you were to give, like, people advice on approaching people and doing it in a way that's not kind of, like, you see, like, not selling out on yourself, but also still, like, will work, if you get me. What would you give them?
Like, you have to take into consideration that these people already have people that are working for them full time. That's one thing. Okay, I'll actually dumb it down even more. Like, take into consideration that these people that are up and coming have, like, friends and stuff, or people that they want to pay to do a good job. So on that front, you kind of have to be real with yourself, and you kind of have to, like, just sit down and study, you know what I mean? Sit down and, like, practice as much as you can before you go ahead and, like, do that, you know? Plus as well, like, stack the fuck out of your portfolio, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, a lot of people do this, and they're like, oh yeah, I sent off a few designs to someone, and then it's just like a couple of texts, and you know, like, that's not feasible for someone to hire you for a job for like 500 quid. You know what I mean? Like, so you need to sit down, hone down on your skills, and then even like the format of emails, like, please, like, when sending emails, do not, like, don't copy and paste. That's a big thing. Don't copy and paste, because it's not genuine. Like,
they see through.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, you need to put yourself in that situation and be like, you know, like, would you, let's say, like, I don't do photography anymore, but for you, would you like it if, I don't know, a brand sent you some about, like, they wanting you to do a job for them, but, like, you can just tell that they've, like, copied and pasted this to everyone.
I've got it off people. Yeah. I've got it off people in Dublin, like, that I've worked with before, where I got this message about something, and it was like not a weird request in that way. Just like, I hadn't got something like that before, so I was like, let me just, like, I didn't open the message or anything. Didn't go on Instagram. I was like, I'm trying to think, like, see if I want to do this, all the rest, like, because just especially with the situation at the moment, and then. There was nothing personal, so they clearly, and then it got unsent.
Oh man!
Like 3 hours later, so they clearly just sent it to a lot of photographers, and then the first
that's.
And I was like,
And first thing is, another thing as well is, like, keep it professional. Like, send emails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, make sure you have your emails patterned. Make sure that, like, you go out of your way. I know it's hard starting out, but make sure you have, like, email trackers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, or even, what I started doing was, I would copy and paste. What's the thing called? There's a thing where there's a kind of app that you can get that can tell you whether the person has opened the email or not.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a way that you can actually copy the little emoticon at the bottom of the page that, like, says, it basically says that if you open the email, like, this person can see if you open the email, which, like, kind of urges people to maybe reply back. So what I kind of did at the start was I just copy the picture and, like, put it at the bottom, and then I got, like, you just have to be a bit more, like, street smart with certain things, you know what I mean? But other than that, nothing really much more. It's literally just, like, sitting down and doing the work. Like, for me, like, it was like football for me. Like, people would ask me, oh, how do you do this, and how's this, how are you so good at that, and blah blah, and I'd be like, man, I don't know. But then I look back at it, and, like, when everyone was, like, going out for drinks, or going to the hole and rush for drinks, or whatever.
I forgot you're out from there.
Like when everyone was, like, doing all mad shit, I was, like, having fun at the back of my garden, like, kicking a ball against the wall from, like, let's say, like, 3 p.m. to, like, fucking 12 at midnight. But at that time, I didn't know that, like, I was practicing. I was just having fun, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's like that with, like, design and, like, clothing, and even, like, I heard you guys talking about, like, movie directors and whatnot, and I'm not even in that world, and I wouldn't do anything like that, but, like, those things, you guys are, like, just chilling, having fun, like, talking about that shit. Like, a few years from now, people are gonna ask, oh, how the fuck do you know all that? And it's oh, we've been just chilling, talking about this shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's literally it for me.
Do you still take that approach with everything? Like, it's kind of like, money aside, of course, is enjoyment.
It's
the priority.
It's a hard one now because, like, I don't know. Again, I've always been growing up playing football and, like, obviously getting a lot of opportunities. Like, I had that mindset where if I reached like 23, I failed in life.
Yeah, I
still have that.
I'm turning 20 next month, and I'm like, when I turn 22, yeah.
So like, saying that now, like, I wouldn't, like, I don't know, saying that now, even though I'm not doing football anymore, I still kind of have that mindset where I'm like, shit, man, like, I've got to get myself together. Even though, like, I have to remind myself that I actually do have my shit together.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could, like, I'm working for 2 companies now, but I could stay at home working for myself as well. So I have, like, passive income from my shit.
Yeah.
And then working for 2 companies, it's stress, but I've decided that I want to put myself through that stress so that I can chill out when I'm, like, 25, 26, 27, whatever. And it is, like, doing jobs now, it is kind of strenuous. Like, I've low-key kind of stopped wanting to do, like, graphics and even, like, photography. Like, the last shoot I did was, like, for my friend Julius, which was, like maybe 2 years ago now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last shoot
the bags?
Yeah, like,
was
the one with Lukey floating or something.
I love that photo, yeah.
Like, literally, that was the last shoot I've done.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, I still love the arts. I love everything about it, but when everything... I did that shoot for free, and, like, when everything gets too professional, that's when I'm like, yo, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, right now, I'm not even, like... Right now, this year, I've probably, like, accepted or even went for maybe 3 graphic design jobs, you know? Because I'm already doing graphics for a company now already, like Primark, I'm doing graphics for them. And, like, obviously I have my own shit, like my own brand and stuff that I'm doing graphics for, but, like, I don't know, it's now, again, I said, it's more so, like, the money side. I'm, like, you know, like, I recently got into drop shipping, and that's what I'm, like, really on right now. That's what I'm on right now. Like, I want to, like, growing up, it was always a case of, oh, yeah, man, I'm just having fun. Like, even now, I'm still having fun, but, like, I'm kind of, like, trying to put myself in the position where I can really have fun and just, like, essentially just chill out and do my own thing. You know?
Yeah, I think the weird thing when, like, money comes into, because it's the same with me now, like, obviously, especially shooting film and stuff like that, like, it's not even, like, because if I was going out and shooting digital all the time, the only thing that's really being, like, there's not, like, physical money, like, it's time, whatever. Obviously, you need to be paid for your time, but when you have to start, like, talking about, oh, like, what's your budget, all this, like, it does kind of take a little bit of fun out of it. I still enjoy doing it, but, like, I like making stuff for myself and for the brand more. And I think the good thing about having a brand is that people expect to have to be to pay for clothes or have to pay for earrings or whatever it is you're doing. Like, because it's normal, but, like, there's so many people that can take a photo that, like, when you get into, well, I charge this much, I charge blah, blah, blah for this, and this, people are like, well, and that's when the fun comes out of it. Like, it's weird, literally. But at least having something like, and same with graphics, because like you were saying earlier, like, the reason you got into it was because you didn't want to pay someone else to do it.
Yeah, literally,
which is completely fair.
And that's, like, with photography as well. Like, the reason why I got into photography was I didn't want to pay anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Got good at it, and then people, when I came back to Dublin and I was on my photography shit, people didn't want to pay. Exactly, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not doing photography anymore.
Yeah, it's like,
you know?
Because it's like, you want to have fun with it, but you also don't want to be, like, literally putting yourself out of money to have fun when you could just go out with your friends and do it or something like that, or you could just do it for a brand that you're making money off.
Another thing as well, just to give a bit of advice to people, like, I feel like we really could, like, the penny really drops, like, at a certain point. Like, you start to realize that, like, the money that you're, like, the age that we live in, it's such a beautiful time, and, like, I'm still at fault for myself, like, on what I'm about to say right now, but, like, the amount of money that us as young people we spend on like unnecessary
Sure,
shit.
on drink every weekend.
On drink every weekend.
Clothes that
blah,
you don't
blah,
even
blah.
like at that.
And then, you know what I mean? And then, like, when it comes to you being like, oh, I'd love to do that idea.
Yeah.
I don't have any money to do
that is
that
literally-
idea because, like, you've spent it all on drink, you know what I mean? You had fun. Like, for
Yeah.
me personally, like, Secure Studios is based around that whole punk aesthetic that I've been fascinated by since I was, like, in primary school. And it's inspired by, like, the parties, all that type of shit.
Yeah.
So, on my front, I've enjoyed it. It's, like, helped me. It's given me, like, inspiration and everything. But there's, like, it doesn't really happen now because, like, I've managed to be able to be in control of shit. But, like, yeah, man, you start to realize that, man, like, you can literally do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But because, like, you're like, oh, no, I can't miss that.
Yeah.
Even though you get there and it's fucking shit.
That was literally me, like, for the longest time, like, I've only started doing photography and that, like, recently enough, but for the longest time I've been into, like, fashion a little bit, not that heavily, but, like, I've just wanted to do a brand, like, I just like drawing and stuff like that, but I was always like, can't put all my money out, like, if I put all my money into that and don't sell a t-shirt. Like, but I'm glad it's come at the time it has, because the time now is that all of my friends that will support it and everyone else has money, whereas if I started a brand in 5th year, you're not going to be selling stuff because no one has money. You sell a couple of things to like people whose parents will give them money and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it has come at a good time and I'm glad it's come at the time it has, but the only thing that ever held me back was, like, money.
The money,
And it was obviously because I wasn't working and stuff like that, but like, being, like, just making that sacrifice and putting in the first, like, whatever it is, 400, 500, like, euro into it, it's like, it does seem like a lot, but, like, at the end of the day, like, if you're really on it, it does pay, like, it pays
really
off,
does.
like,
It's crazy how much people are afraid to lose an investment.
yeah.
But
When
then
it's
we'll
you,
just,
but
I
then
don't
you
want to
look,
lose this money, and
but
then
you
I'm just
literally
gonna go
look back at
impulse buy
what
some
you
shit.
look back at what you paid, like, you spent money on for the last month, and you would have had, like, double that.
This is the thing. This is the thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the fucked up part. Like, when you put an order in for, like, a bunch of t-shirts, and you're like, damn, like, you look at your bank account, you're like, I spent that, like, getting takeaway points. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to have that balance. You know, we really have to be strict on ourselves because, like, honestly, like, I hate saying it, and even myself, like, whenever, like, people talk about this type of shit, like, I'm literally going through the same thing.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like,
there
there literally isn't, like, and I remember Grace Adeloja, Skepta's manager, she was chatting about how you should never be discouraged if you don't have anything or if you don't have something. Everything that becomes great comes from people that didn't have anything. You know what I mean? So if you, like, we look back on it now and we say, oh, we didn't have money, and, like, to a degree, yeah, cool. Like, for me personally, yeah, I didn't have money to start off, blah blah blah. But then another person would look at me and be like, oh, but you could have, like, I don't know, you could have, like, cut up your t-shirt.
Or you could have drawn a mark.
Yeah, you could have did that, and blah, blah, blah. But then me being meticulous, I'd be like, well, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, at the end of the day, there's kind of no excuse.
Exactly,
And, like, even with, like, people that want to start, like, YouTube channels, like, someone in your house has, like, a camera.
You have a phone.
You have a phone. You know what I mean?
You can get iMovie on your iPhone.
Bro,
like,
you know what I mean? So there's literally no excuse. We need to, like, get the finger out of our ass and, like,
exactly.
fucking do something, you know?
Yeah.
A bad product is better than a great idea.
Exactly. literally.
Yeah. I think, well, I don't even
I'm
want
gonna
to
tweet that, by the way.
I don't even want
Give out
to.
royalties.
I don't want to wrap it up. It's actually good, but we're over our time,
Oh,
here, which is so annoying. I
damn,
actually really
damn.
like. I really don't want to, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think we have to because I'm pretty sure that guy is trying to come in.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
fair
you
enough,
do
fair
your
enough.
Alright.
thing.
You've been listening to Korpse Talk with our special guest, Silent G.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.